The Silent Forest Intro. A small, quiet village sits on the edge of a dense forest, seemingly forgotten by the modern world. The locals rarely venture into the forest. There's an old superstition that those who enter don't come back. Strangers hear whispers of the silent forest, but no one speaks about it openly. The forest has a dark reputation, and for good reason. Chapter 1. The warning. Simon and Laura, a young couple in search of a peaceful escape from city life, move into a quaint house near the forest. The locals warn them not to go near the woods, but Simon, being an adventurer at heart, dismisses the warnings. One evening, an old man from the village stops by their house, eyes wide with fear. He pleads with them, "Do not go into the forest. The silence is not what it seems." Simon brushes him off as a superstitious fool, but Laura feels uneasy. The atmosphere in the village is strange, and she notices that every house faces away from the forest, as if the villagers are actively avoiding it. Chapter 2. Into the Forest. Despite the warnings, Simon decides to take a hike into the forest. At first, it seems like any other forest: tall trees, the sound of birds and insects, a cool breeze. But as he ventures deeper, the air changes. It becomes unnervingly quiet. No birds, no wind, no rustling leaves, just silence. Simon suddenly feels disoriented. The path that led him into the forest now seems to disappear. His compass spins wildly, unable to find north. He hears faint, distant whispers, but when he turns, no one is there. Chapter 3. The Disappearance. When Simon doesn't return by nightfall, Laura panics. She calls the villagers, but they refuse to help, warning her that those who enter the forest never come back. Desperate, Laura decides to search for Simon herself. As she steps into the forest, the same eerie silence envelops her. She finds Simon's backpack near a large oak tree, but no sign of him. As the hours pass, she begins to hear strange whispers, soft and distant, like voices carried on the wind. When she tries to follow them, she realizes the whispers aren't leading her anywhere. They're surrounding her. Chapter 4. The Silent Ones. The deeper Laura goes, the stranger the forest becomes. The silence feels oppressive, almost suffocating. She stumbles upon an old, overgrown path and follows it to a forgotten clearing where she finds the remnants of a long-abandoned village. The houses are crumbling, and strange symbols are carved into the stones. As she explores the village, Laura sees shadows moving in the distance. At first, she thinks it's Simon, but as she approaches, she realizes the figures are not human. They are tall, gaunt, with hollow eyes and pale skin. These are the Silent Ones, the lost souls of those who entered the forest and never left. Chapter 5. The Ritual. Laura returns to the village to beg for help. One of the elders, an old woman named Ilara, tells Laura the truth about the forest. Long ago, the villagers made a pact with ancient spirits to protect their land from invaders. In exchange, the spirits demanded silence and solitude. Those who break the pact by entering the forest are claimed by the Silent Ones. Ilara reveals there is only one way to bring Simon back, a ritual that must be performed at the heart of the forest, in the dead of night. The cost of the ritual, however, is great. It requires a life for a life. Chapter 6. The Heart of the Forest. Determined to save Simon, Laura gathers the materials for the ritual. She enters the forest one last time, making her way to the heart of the woods where the ancient spirits dwell. The silence is deafening now, and she feels eyes watching her from every shadow. As she prepares the ritual, the whispers grow louder, almost unbearable. The Silent Ones surround her, their hollow eyes fixed on her every move. Just as she's about to complete the ritual, Simon appears, alive but changed. He is cold and distant, his eyes empty, as if part of him has been lost to the forest forever. Chapter 7. The Price. Laura finishes the ritual, but the spirits demand their payment. In a cruel twist, Laura realizes that in order to save Simon, she must offer herself in his place. As the Silent Ones close in, she accepts her fate, knowing that she cannot escape the pact. The next day, Simon returns to the village, but Laura is nowhere to be found. The villagers know what happened, but say nothing. Simon's memory of the forest is hazy, and he struggles to recall the details of what transpired. All he knows is that the forest took something from him, and the silence will forever haunt him. The village continues to live in fear of the forest, and the whispers about the Silent Ones persist. Newcomers hear the same warnings, but like Simon and Laura, they don't always listen. The forest stands still, its secrets buried deep within the silence, waiting for the next soul to wander in.